I know it's uncomfortable, but facial expressions have to be rehearsed in the studio. So the main thing we have to do is figure out how to overcome the discomfort of practicing it. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Dance Colleges and Careers. I'm your host, Brittany Noltemeyer, and this is the podcast where we talk about all things dance, colleges, and careers. Friends, last night I was starving, so I went to the kitchen to make some chili. Okay. And realizing just how uncomfortable I am in the kitchen, I said to myself, I don't belong in here. But here's the thing. The lesson I learned from making chili is the exact same lesson your dancer needs when it comes to facial expressions. So if your child's ever felt awkward trying to do facial expressions, stick with me because this story is for you. So you guys, I am not a chef. I am not a pro in the kitchen. I've never been a cook. I've never been good in the kitchen. I can't say I even feel comfortable with like cooking 101. I'm terrified of undercooking meat. So if I cook meat, it's usually way overcooked or really dry. And I'm just extremely insecure in the kitchen. I can't do that anymore. So I'm choosing to be vulnerable with you guys today because right now, no, I'm not in the same shoes as you as not being able to do my facial expressions. I thrive in that. I love it. It brings me joy, but that's because I learned how to do it. But this is something where I can completely relate to you. And while it starts out as a funny story about just how I'm making chili, and while I'm making it, I feel like Kevin from The Office, who makes this big bowl of chili and drops it on the ground, scoops it back in, and I just feel like a menace. I feel like a menace in the kitchen. But the truth is, it's a very deep insecurity. And I am working on overcoming that because a girl's got to eat. A girl's got to eat. Would rather be doing anything else than cooking or eating. And this brought me to two really weird parts of my life. Okay. So there was one time when I wasn't eating so much that it made me feel so extremely guilty because I thought that I had become so lazy. I thought that the fact that I wasn't eating was because I was being lazy, that I was too lazy to go cook in the kitchen. To make myself feel better about that, I was working 10 times as hard in my office or with my students because if there's anything I hate, it's laziness. I am all about work ethic. I am pride myself on working hard. And I was so ashamed that I thought I was too lazy to cook. I learned that wasn't true. It's not that I'm lazy. So then the next fear came up. I actually thought I had an eating disorder. This isn't actually anything I've ever even talked to anybody about. But I would go so long without eating that I thought I had an eating disorder. And I was freaking out, right? Because that's not healthy. That's not good. I knew it wasn't right. I knew I wasn't making the right decisions or the right choices. I knew that all I needed to do was go from this room right here, my office, to my kitchen and make myself some food and they'd be fine. But I wouldn't do it. I would wait all day. I would be sitting here completely starving. And then what do? I would go make myself another cup of coffee. I love coffee. Okay. It's not like I'm taking away from my coffee here. I absolutely love my cup of coffee in the morning. But the problem is that I used hunger. Whoa, it's like giving me a tummy ache to talk about. I was using hunger as an excuse to have another treat, another cup of coffee. Now, I know it still sounds like an eating disorder. Okay. But the truth is I did a lot of self-work on that and I was very terrified. Like I was terrified I was like giving myself an eating disorder and then luckily that wasn't true either. It wasn't body dysmorphia. It wasn't that. Oh my gosh, I'm like gonna cry. This is a lot. The truth is, I am so insecure with what I'm doing in the kitchen that I will use any excuse to do anything but that. I went to the extremes of thinking I had an eating disorder rather than figuring out how to cook. I thought I was the laziest person in the world rather than overcoming fears I have in the kitchen. Wow. Okay, so I told you, I know this is a very vulnerable episode for me. I did a silly video about it on Instagram and Facebook while I was doing it, but I did not get to the root of this. But the honesty, the the reason why I have to make this episode for you is because while I'm telling you to be brave, while I'm telling you to practice your facial expressions, I know it runs as deep as this does for me in the kitchen of thinking I have an eating disorder. Like, that's really some serious stuff, guys. And I know that this topic that I bring to you in such a joyful, positive, and just like, it's easy, guys, you can do it, is not that easy for you. I know that there is this ball of fear here inside of you holding you back every single day. And it's not about holding you back with your technique or holding you back with your teachers or your friends. It's about holding you personally back to have this constant fear of not doing it right. You can have better because I'm here with you. I'm here with you, telling you the exact steps, telling you exactly what you need, and giving you this vulnerability to say you're not alone. And it's not easy. I know I talk about it a lot. I'll send messages and be like, it's just, this is the story, do this. But I understand that this pain that I have right here about just cooking some chicken is what you feel when a teacher says to you, smile. When a teacher says, use your face. When a teacher says, use your storytelling. When a judge says, come on, smile, give me passion, give me your storytelling. And you're like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Thanks, but no thanks. I'm going to take your other feedback. I'm going to get better at the other things you said, but that stage presence, storytelling stuff, nah. I'm not going to do that because that's way too scary. I could be brave and start making something 3 times a day and overcome this struggle I've been dealing with forever. This is not something you either are or you aren't. That's what I talked about before. Like stage presence. It's not that you either have stage presence or you're not. You're not either a good cook or a bad cook. It is a learned skill. I'm very aware that I could be a better chef, that I could make the most amazing meals if I really wanted to. And we like to eat pretty cleanly in the house. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still love chicken wings. But in the house, we like to eat pretty cleanly. Chicken and pasta and rice and, just fuel for your body. Up until yesterday, I was making excuses. Excuse after excuse after excuse of why not to go make some food. Why not to do something about feeling starving? I've got bananas in there. I could just go get a banana, but I didn't really want a banana, right? So I know that there are very easy solutions to my idea of the kitchen, and the fact that I feel so uncomfortable in there puts stress on me every single day. That's messed up, guys. That's messed up. Just like you going to dance. You go to dance every single day. You spend a lot of hours there. This facial expression stuff is not just for the stage. It is not just the Cool Whip on the top of the dessert. It is who we are. It is a part of how we learn. It's a part of how we listen to music, and it's a part of your identity. So I'm learning this lesson that I need to get into the kitchen and make food and give my body fuel, not just for me, but for you guys. I'm going through it just as much as you, but in the kitchen instead of the studio. So please, I invite you to learn this with me. Okay? Don't let yourself go 12 years like I am with this. Don't let yourself wait another year when you're in the next age category and things get harder. Or you go to college and everybody else and other people have already been working on this. So my friends, be better. I know it's hard. I know it's really hard. So let me break it down into the simple steps, and then we can work on the second part together. So first of all, it is so similar because there are rules. There is a recipe, there's a formula. Follow the rules. I love rules, okay? I'm a rule follower. I love rules. And why do I hate them in the kitchen? I have no idea. But that's step number one, the rules. So do you know your rules for your facial expressions? I'm going to do an episode on the facial rules very soon, but if you want a sneak peek into that, you can get those inside the academy or in the boot camp. Okay, so first you need your recipe. Can you just do it with the recipe? If I have a recipe, can I just go to the kitchen and all of a sudden make the best food ever? Technically, yes. But if I could, I already would be. Same for you. If you could, you already would be. It's not just that, it's overcoming the fear of getting started. And honestly, that fear comes with practice. It comes with practice. So I invite you to practice with me. I made chili last night. I ate it today for lunch, so I haven't had to cook yet again. But I will be cooking again. I don't need to go hungry every day for lunch because I'm afraid of what's on the other side of that wall. That's ridiculous. I know it's ridiculous, but it's the fear of getting started. So anybody can have a recipe, but you're not going to be perfect the first time you try the recipe. You might luck out and get it perfect. Great. You really paid attention, but probably not as fast as you will be next time and the time after that. And then with memory, and then by memory with music playing, having a great time. Right? So it's not just about reading the rules, reading the recipe, but it's about practicing the recipe to become a pro at it, to become awesome, to become confident, to have fun doing it. No, I'm not having fun in the kitchen yet. I'm not. And I know you're not having fun with your facial expressions yet, but we're going to get there together. But until you start practicing it, not just on the stage, but until you start bringing it, implementing it into the classroom, it's never going to get easier. When you practice it, when you follow the recipe, put it in your pot or put it on your face, it gives you the chance to make a mistake. It gives you the chance to do it right or do it wrong, and then evaluate and do it better next time. Quite honestly, one of the things you could do if you are serious about working on this, you have like an Instagram that you are pushing material out on, you could challenge yourself to post more often. And when you post, when you take a picture, what do? You don't go like this and snap a photo with a blank face. You smile. You show personality. You show an artsy pose you give the camera something interesting. Same thing with the stage. So if you really want to practice it and you have an Instagram, that's a great place to start practicing while waiting for that next performance. But you know that's not the real answer, right? Because this is still the performance. But the classroom is the journey. The classroom is where we learn. The classroom is where we practice, where we grow, and where we make mistakes. Because if you only put your mistakes on the screen, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing, yo. Exactly. And you don't want that, and I don't want that for you. What I really mean is that if you need more opportunity to perform, if you're having more struggles getting out of your shell unless you're actually on stage or performing, then that is a way you could do that. This is how you can finally make a change. You got your recipe or the facial expression rules. If your teacher says smile, that's the rule, smile. If they say this is a sad song, you gotta have a sad face, make it sad. Okay, so you follow the rules, and the only way to do it is to practice, practice, practice. I talk about how you can actually implement it in many other episodes. Yeah, many times I say this type of song, your face should be doing this. We need to have this amount of expressions. We need to go from this level to this level. There are all those rules. Until you're ready to just get to the first step, get started, all that other nonsense doesn't matter. I could have a binder full of recipes. I could have 12 cookbooks. But until I open it up and say, I'm making this right now, it doesn't matter. So parents, if you're listening, if you have anything like my crazy cooking holding you back, please just share it with me so I don't feel so alone here. Or kids, if you're listening, please share it in our Facebook group, in our Dance Colleges and Careers podcast Facebook group. I would love to hear from you guys. This was really hard for me. This was very vulnerable. I'm a teacher. Usually I'm talking about you, and trying to get you to be better. I don't want to be alone here, guys. I know I can't be the only one afraid to get started with something. So yes, I made the chili last night and I had it for lunch today. Was it perfect? No. I thought it was going to be so easy. It's just chili. You throw everything in a pot, right? No, it tasted like water. It did. But you know what? I added some more spices, paprika and chili powder and salt and garlic. And now it's good. It's at least decent. Going to feed me for dinner. It's going to feed me. I know that this is not going to change overnight. Tomorrow, I don't have my recipe picked out and I'm like, oh, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I'm going to do this. I am not excited about it. I don't like it. There is still so much fear and panic and insecurity built up with this topic of just me cooking that I'm not excited, but I am excited to stop feeling uncomfortable in my kitchen. And that's what has to motivate you. You're probably not excited to use your facial expression. It makes us feel like an idiot sometimes. It makes us feel dumb. It makes us feel like others think we're stupid. It makes us feel like they are talking about us and that we look silly. But wouldn't it be amazing to not feel that? I don't feel that when I perform. I don't feel that at all. I have joy. When I hear music, when I dance, I feel joy and comfort, and I move and style, and that makes the style come easy for me. So I know it's not going to be perfect tomorrow, but I do want it to get a little bit easier on you so that you don't have to have this pit of anxiety about how to use your face, and to stop waiting until it's going to be perfect just to finally get it on stage. I'll keep reading my recipes and I won't be uncomfortable in the kitchen forever. I'm going to learn. And the same is for you and your facials. You can't just read your notes or listen to these videos and wish for confidence. You have to practice, and you don't have to do it alone. You can have a coach, whether it's in my program with the boot camp in the Fame Academy, or a coach or mentor you have at home. The fastest way to grow is by having a coach guide you, so you don't have to waste years guessing. If you want a head start, I put together a bonus for this episode. Yes, it's just for you. All you have to do is go to BrittanyNoltzmeyer.com/77 and find your free bonus there. You're not alone. I know that it's not as easy as I make it sound in some of these episodes. I know it's not, but it could be with a little bit of guidance. So I'll catch you guys on next week's episode. Until then, be brave, tell your story, and own your stage.